welcome back to my channel. Anyone who knows me knows that I normally do train content in the UK, but as I've been on a trip to the Isle of Man, I thought I might as well get some videos from here of the Manx Electric Railway. It's quite a long one, a lot longer than what I normally do, but it's going to be lovely, and if anyone who just likes looking at scenery on trains, or just like anyone who's interested in looking at like old trains, or might be going to the Isle of Man and thinking of doing this Manx Electric Railway, then this is good for you. But also if you just want to relax, I won't talk too much this time. I've just done another 2 voiceovers for part 1 and 2 of visiting the Western stations, and I've just been doing voiceovers, so I won't talk too much in this one, but just enjoy the video, just relax I guess, and have a good time. It was incredibly nice being in this back carriage, which was completely open. I could stick my phone out not too far from my ear on these poles. I was terrified of hitting these poles, and I really like the way you see on the curves the other carriage sort of turning around, and the relatively narrow gauge. It's very nice. Lots of little request stops that stopped along the way. It's really busy. I don't know. It was incredibly nice journey. It's not even that problem for safety. There's no seat belts or anything. You just have to stand up on the Sorry, I know you couldn't really hear me, but they basically just said don't stand up and don't poke your head or your camera out of the sides. You can't really promise much. Well, sorry, I can't really promise much, sadly. But anyway, I'll let you get back to enjoying the scenery.
didn't insist or anything, you know. I know I don't have to, but I like to.
We arrived in Laxey not too long after leaving Douglas, which is sort of the main, like, halfway point of the line. We will also be visiting the Laxley water wheel, which is the biggest working water wheel on Earth, right after the Snafell Mountain Railway, which we'll be going to just now. That's going to be great. I've got some videos, I'll show you those definitely. But now we are on the Snafell Mountain Railway, and we can see that we are just sort of, after this crossing, separating from the main electric railway, which is the line down to Ramsey, which we'll be visiting later on. And this goes right up Snafell Pike, which is the tallest mountain on the Isle of Man. It was great views up there, and it's a great journey up there too, and you're about to witness loads of it. Here we're getting a view of the Laxley water wheel. I'll get right up to that later on foot and get some good videos of it. Stay tuned for that. Now here's something quite funny. The train did stop to let us get a good view of the Laxley water wheel, and it's incredibly rattly, and at the start I wasn't even sure if it was supposed to stop. It kind of sounded like it had just broken down, to be honest.
Normally you'd have a commentary. Still going strong.
By the mine, you mean the whole...
Doing a good mood today, okay?
It's just because as if that mine means...
It's not like that. When you've been up to Scotland, have I ever taken you to the industrial museum? And some of them, they've got a real mine there as well.
Just about to cross over this road here, which is part of the Isle of Man TT motorbike races racetrack. So you got motorbike racers fly around there at ridiculously high speeds. It's quite interesting. I've seen videos of it. It's quite cool looking up. Now we're headed up the last little stretch up the mountain. We could tell it was incredibly windy because the windows just about crack open, and I could feel a lot of wind coming through. It was very windy, and to be honest, I wasn't sure if this was even safe. It felt like the wind was that powerful it could have just knocked the tram car over. Summit. We get off here, and I stopped up there for lunch, had a lovely jacket potato in the cafe and got some great views. I didn't really get many pictures, it was really windy, you could see Scotland, Wales, England and Ireland. The view was great, but anyway, time to head back down the mountain, back to Laxey.
Douglas-Laxey-snafell mountain, the island's only official mountain at 2,036 feet, 621 metres above sea level. The journey down will take around 25 minutes. Snafell Mountain Railway was completed in just 7 months and opened on August the 21st, 1895. The average gradient is 1 in 20. Between France and Italy, and subsequently Brazil and New Zealand. George Noble Fell is the engineer for the Snafell line and used his father's system. Why the gauge of 3 feet 6 inches was adopted for the Snafell line to accommodate caliper brakes. You're now passing Silver Reservoir on the right. The line is on 2 hills with a small gap between them, and through there you'll see the field on the island's west coast, beyond the mountains of Mourne in Northern Ireland on a clear day.
Something that's worth mentioning about the Snafell Mountain Railway is that it was actually built in 7 months. If you look at how long they've been trying to build HS2, there's quite a big difference there. Today it would take more than 7 years for them to lay a single sleeper, but back in the 1850s I think it was, they got this built in only 7 months. That's quite cool.
We are now approaching the bungalow station next to the famous TT course. The Tourist Trophy motorcycle races, known simply as the TT, commenced in 1907 and have raced on the mountain course since 1911. Today, TT competitors travel at speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. TT course. To the left are the ruins of the weighbridge that was used to weigh the lead ore that was
You may have
extracted
noticed that
from the
centre
Snefell mine
rail in between the two tracks. That's the extra sort of emergency brake which it can use to slow down on these very steep gradients, because if there's no emergency brake and something fails, then we're all cooked. It'll just pick up speed and crash and we'll all die, so good thing that's there.
She nearly got a date with Bowers before, nearly got in the way.
station has a cafe serving snacks, homemade cakes, tea and coffee, and there are also toilet and baby change facilities. Don't forget to look out for our special events which run throughout the year. These include stargazing at our Pie in the Sky events, sunset dinners, and upper crust lunches. Thank you for travelling with us today. We hope you enjoyed your trip on the Snæfell Mountain Railway and hope to see you again very soon.
We're now arriving back in Laxey. This is where the Snæfell Mountain Railway car parks itself up. And in just a second, I'm going to walk up to the wheel and show you guys a bit of that. It's really cool.
I love the 3 legs on the wheel.
Now this is the world's biggest working water wheel. It's massive, you can just feel sort of how powerful it is just stood there next to it. You can see all the water coming down. It was used to pump something out of the mine, which was nearby. The mine being about as deep as the mountain we were up was, so 600 meters. It was incredibly deep. They do tours of the mine. We didn't really have time that day. We still have the whole Ramsey branch to explore, and being the sort of heritage train that it is, they stopped running quite early, so we had to get a bit of a move on. And well, there we are. It was very interesting. I'll leave you guys to watch the wheel do its thing for a bit.
So I can look at the side.
Here's the only time I was able to get some good videos of the electric railway trains passing from not being on them. But they're quite noisy, aren't they? It's very nice. That was just heading into Laxey, you can see it just there. And now we'll be boarding this one, and we'll be exploring the last section, which is the Ramsey branch. and here we are. This was the last one to go to Ramsey. It's way too early, so for my opinion, but it's really good. In fact, we were here on the first week of all the heritage stuff running. It was quite nice. So that was right after it started running for the season. And yes, I managed to sit in the very back, so you'll be enjoying plenty of videos out the back window like this coming up. So Ramsey branch, please enjoy. are now arriving at Ramsey. We've just arrived, and I've got some pretty good videos of how the train turns around. This one's going to be turning around and heading back to Douglas. They detached itself from the open car at the back, and you can see it go up there and sort of couple itself back, ready for the return trip to Douglas. It was also quite windy here in Ramsey. You can see the waves. They were pretty powerful in the harbour. It was very nice visiting Ramsey and the whole Manchester area as a whole. It's been a great video. I've really enjoyed filming this one. That turning around was the last one back to Douglas. I did take the bus back to Douglas instead, and although there weren't any trains running, it was too late for that now. From the bus we did get some pretty good views of the railway. The bus from Ramsey back to Douglas followed a pretty similar route to the railway, and we got some pretty good views. It's nice seeing it from this perspective too. I did manage to get the front seats at the top deck. Everyone knows that those are the best seats on the bus, and somewhere as beautiful as the Alaman, it's always crucial to have those seats. It was very nice. But anyway guys, sorry I just ran out of video. It's probably just going to be showing black for you guys, but thanks for watching. It's been a lovely visit, and I've got a video I'm working on for the Isle of Man steam train from Douglas to Port Erin. So, well, thanks for watching. Please like the video and enjoy. Goodbye.